The step taken by President Trump, of course, it's not about US mediation, quote unquote, from that perspective only. A personal agenda of his is also in the brink. Then it will be a difficult situation, not for Zelensky or for the US, but for those European countries. You have sided with Russia, so we'll penalize you. At the same time, you are inviting the same country's president to your country, one part of your country, and having a talk to settle a problem. You will see Munir acting more rather than doing anything. And it's that acting in terms of dialogue delivery, typical film dialogue delivery, because these are filmy language that he is using. Losing India as a dear friend is something which US has done wrong.
Namaste and a very warm welcome to the Nationalist Madarasi. In this episode, we will try to bring out the various international relations which happened in the recent times, especially the Alaska summit and Trump's tariffs towards India and the other BRICS nations, and Trump's closeness towards the Pakistan nation as well. So we have with us an international relations expert and who is an internal security expert as well. So we have with us Dr. Ayanjit Sen, who is also an associate professor in Bennett University. Thank you so much, Ayanjit sir. And so it's a pleasure always talking to you. So I would like to welcome you for our show. And sir, I would like to start with the Trump's Alaska summit. Firstly, we'll briefly discuss on that, and then the entire Europe is in the White House. So what's happening? Especially, I want to discuss the Alaska summit which happened. Putin was nowhere seen, and so he was actually declared as a war criminal, or there were some news that wherever Putin goes, he might he can be arrested as well. These kinds of news were surfing in the internet for the past two and a half years, let's say. But interestingly, he went to Alaska itself, and there was a summit which took place, and there he said that when Trump was saying that I hope to meet you soon, then President Putin was saying that next time in Moscow as well. So that was a clear statement that he was the gainer. He was the clear gainer in that summit as well. So what is the takeaway from this Alaska summit, sir?
I think, thank you very much for having me. What I would like to say here is that as far as the Alaska summit is concerned, few things which come out prominently. One is that the step taken by President Trump, of course, it's not about US mediation, quote unquote, from that perspective only. A personal agenda of his is also in the brink, no doubt on that. I'll not go further on that aspect, but overall, as far as the success of the summit is concerned, well, it all depends on whether and how much everything is written in clear white and black. It is definitely something which, both the Russian president and Trump himself, the way everything shaped up there, very clearly tells us one aspect, that is, things are on the move, and we can see sunlight slowly coming out as far as the solving of this issue of Ukraine and Russia goes. But of course, at the end of the day, don't forget Trump's way of taking credit. We have seen that. But in this case, I'm not going to comment on that particular aspect. But yes, as far as the US is concerned, they have taken that step ahead. Trump has taken it rather, and but a lot is to be seen how Europe takes it, because at the end of the day, till few months back, it was an all-out clear demarcation of who's supporting whom. Suddenly this changed, and all of a sudden something came in the mind of the US president, and he decides, okay, let me see if I can solve it. Why? With what purpose? There are tons of explanations to do with that. I'm not going to go into that bit. But yes, as long as the final result is achieved to do with whether actually something takes place, the issue gets resolved or not, because we have lost so many lives. I mean, there has been from both ends. I mean, not just Ukraine, but also the other side as well, Russian side as well. It's high time that this gets solved once and for all. But as far as Zelensky is concerned, well, he has kind of welcomed this, but at the same time, he's feeling a pressure from those people from the European front who had supported him full-fledged.
Okay, to go on for the war.
To go on for this. And now from that perspective, suddenly making amends with Russia at that point of time, in this point of time, of course, as you may have seen, several European nations are they're still trying to find out what happened all of a sudden, and things have. We have seen the Alaska, but we did not expect possibly things are going to go on the brighter side. But it is progressing on that side. That's what Europe must be thinking, because of which Zelensky is now it's a good news, yet he has to tackle it in such a manner without offending the countries which has stood by him right from the word go.
Got it.
And still, now if amends are made and things become normal, then it will be a difficult situation, not for Zelensky or for the US, but for those European countries.
Okay.
Because they have already shown their color out. So a lot depends on what happens next. We are waiting to see as to, because I presume there is a very good chance of the things settling down in a way.
Okay. Can we say that Putin is the biggest gainer of all these 3 years?
Well,
or Zelensky, a kind of a loser, we can say?
I would say Putin has played a very good waiting game. And this game has, in a way, given him shorter gains in a long period of time. It's not like he's gaining everything together all of a sudden.
Okay.
But he has built it up.
Okay.
And the world stage right now as it stands, because of closeness to Russia, many nations are suffering, including ours. Not suffering, I would say, have been sanctioned, so to say, quote unquote. Now, from that perspective, if this matter settles, I think it'll be overall it'll have a very good impact on not just Russian relations, but with Ukraine, but also to do with US relations with those countries, which US has thought that they're taking the side of Russia. So it's still in a kind of a situation where we'll have to see what eventually happens.
What made Putin to come to Alaska when all these years Biden couldn't do that, but Trump did it. Eventually, he did that, but we have to. This is a big thing. Calling President Putin to Alaska or in the soil of US is not a small deal at all. And so, what made Trump to do this, whereas Biden cannot do this for all these years? Because all we have seen is Biden making a comment that we should stop this war, and nothing more than that, nothing proactive more than that, actually. And the entire Biden administration was entirely different, we can say. They were closer with India. They were very closer with Bangladesh also, but they tried something very differently. And they were closer with India, but they also tried very differently the back. Those things can't be debated in the public as well. But what made Trump to gain all these things? At the end of the day, US is making this deal happen. That's a bigger thing. Whether it is successful or not, they can trade. As you said, Trump can take credit and they can make it as a successful one as well. What made Putin to believe in Trump, or let's say what made Putin not responding to Biden all these years and coming to Alaska at this time?
Well, I think there are 2-3 possibilities. One, when during Trump's earlier tenure, he was in good terms with Putin. So, that was there. One. Two, I believe Trump's actions and his thoughts are going in opposite directions sometimes.
Okay.
In a way, what he's saying back in the US on certain occasions is more to do with the fact that he's saying, look, you have sided with Russia, so we'll penalize you. At the same time, you are inviting the same country's president to your country, one part of your country, and having a talk to settle a problem. There is another force behind Trump.
Okay.
It may not be, of course, it won't be revealed, but it's certainly certain actions of Trump. This is not to demean him or say anything like that, but certain actions of Trump in the last few months, especially, I think there is something behind Trump which is playing a
Okay.
role.
Okay.
It's not Donald Trump himself.
Okay.
I can't reveal this
Mm.
now, but there is absolutely, it's a certainty. There is something beyond. It's not about his policies. It's not about what he's thinking. It's not about what his actions are. But everything to do with the current situation, as far as US situation in the world sphere is concerned, it is controlled by person or people behind Trump.
Okay.
Now, behind Trump, I don't mean the administration.
Hmm.
They are some people somewhere.
Okay. Okay. We'll discuss that in the later part as well. So the entire Europe was there, including the British Prime Minister, French President Macron, and Giorgia Meloni of Italy, and the Finland president, and the German chancellor, and the EU commissioner. Everyone was there at the White House, and they were made to wait as well. But there was a meeting which was, there was a press conference in the Oval House of the White House, where Vladimir Zelensky was also present over there. So can we say that? Can we come to a conclusion that Zelensky is in nowhere to have a negotiation? So that's why he's pushing this much to end this war. So he has lost so much over there.
It can be, you are very right in the question, because it can be one aspect also, because if US has had talks with Russia, of course, now Zelensky does not know what will come to his hand at the end. From that perspective, he's trying to make sure that there is some pressure created, or not pressure, I would say, but certain voices which should come out in the public. I mean, in the US domain, which also highlights that, hey man, Zelensky is there. So at the end of the day, you supported Zelensky, so don't betray him, or don't. No, it's not about betrayal, but don't kind of, in a way, solve the situation yet. Not entirely winning the bet for Zelensky.
Okay.
So it's still at that hanger by which Zelensky may have spoken to all his European friends, and may have thought, okay, rather than me saying, let my friends speak.
Okay.
Or at least try to.
Okay.
Maybe White House became colorful.
Okay.
The White House became colorful.
So
because of
we
that.
can see that wherever Zelensky goes, he's trying to push it for a mediation. Either whenever he meets Prime Minister Modi, also he says the same thing, and wherever he goes, that India should. From the Indian perspective, he also says the same thing, that India should push for the ceasefire or negotiations or something like that. Does he know that okay, we are on the losing side, or we don't have much to gain, something like that? Does he know that much earlier?
No, it's not. It's see, he knows his capabilities at the end of the day. And every country leader would do that, because for example, even Pakistan knows it. They can't fight us beyond a certain number of days. So, and that too, because the current. The reason I'm saying this is because the current just finished standoff between us, India and Pakistan, was in a way made in China war, I would say, though it's of the past, because the regional equations have changed now to an extent. But we understand the fact that there are no permanent enemies and no permanent friends. But still, India will be cautious about certain countries' approach. And even though they are friends, diplomatically fine, but we'll be taking it with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
So that's something which I think, from an Indian standpoint, whatever happens now, of course, direct flights are starting to China, and more and more talks. The Chinese foreign minister is in town. So much is happening on the front, which is good. Of course, bilaterally, it's going ahead. But I think it's good to go ahead, but with caution.
Yeah, I'll bring in the China angle in a much later part. I would like to specially have some discussion on the Trump's attitude, since you mentioned his 2.0 is very dramatic, very different, and very diplomatic in some cases, and it's some things. I mean, it's some ways it's very fishy also. How do you see the Trump 2.0 administration? Because the moment he came in a very welcoming way and with a rousing mandate also. But maybe from the Indian perspective, things all changed after Operation Sindoor. I mean, with the during the Palgam attack, he was with us, and during the Operation Sindoor, when we started retaliating, he started to playing his cards, especially. How do you especially rate Trump 2.0? I'll bring in the Indian perspective and the Pakistan's perspective in a later stage, actually, and especially the BRICS countries as well. So, how do you see, or how do you predict the US administration in future, and how do you see Trump 2.0 going in future?
See, 2.0 of Trump started off pretty well, as you said, but as it went ahead, things started suddenly changing. And this change in attitude, change in actions, change in reactions has been precipitated primarily, as I said before, taking two things into consideration. One, the US domestic angle. Two, it's definitely, as I said, there is a third force working. A US third force working,
Okay.
I say again. So it's not just Trump, but there's some people speaking the next voice. So from that perspective, his actions are very, I would say, you cannot predict. It's very unpredictable. Things have become very unpredictable on his part. So this unpredictability but he's thinking, for example, if I take not just Ukraine, Russia, but even India, Pakistan, he has shown this, as you said. This unpredictable nature and sudden change of stance. Well, he's not done the same with Israel and Palestine.
He's
Being a
completely
friendly
backed
country.
one side, actually.
Yeah, he's backed and properly been with them. Now, which means in a way that certain geographies in the world he treats in a certain way.
Okay.
And he's looking into US interests, of course, primarily, that's the main thing. But at the same time, diplomatically, I would say he's as far as India is concerned, he's a little bit on the wrong foot right now.
Okay.
I'm not saying because I'm an Indian.
So I'll put it in this way. Is he considering Pakistan more important than India? Or what angle will be helping him in future? Because trade wise, we are his biggest partner over there, and every factors, like be it the Indians over there, or any contributions which is coming, or any trade relations, or any business transactions between US and India, we'll be in the top 3. But Pakistan is nowhere in the space. Maybe it can be into any things we can consider, like trade, war, or anything. Like what makes Trump to have a soft corner for Pakistan, especially?
Well, US has always has had a soft corner, but Trump of late, not of late, I would say at the start, we thought it won't be so.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, certain steps were taken.
Okay.
But I think the final nail in the coffin, in a way, was the Sindoor part.
Okay.
Especially at the last stage.
Okay.
Now, there are certain views which are coming up, certain facts which are coming up, but nobody's going to deny or accept that. But I would still say that as far as Trump is concerned, his change of stance, in a way, if he's thinking that, the step that he has taken as far as Pakistan is concerned is going to be good for his country as well, I think he is on the wrong foot.
Okay.
The reason being, China has already implanted their devices there in that land, that's Pakistan.
Pakistan, you are saying. Okay.
So, from that perspective, on the other hand, he might be thinking, let me give a break to China.
Okay.
So, break in the sense that let me push the brakes. And it shouldn't happen that both countries are totally separated as far as power struggles are concerned to do with other nations.
Definitely.
So it should not be like US is favoring India, China is favoring Pakistan. Not that kind of a picture. It would be more like where China is already favoring Pakistan, no doubt on that. As I said before, it's a made in China war or made in China conflict, as you can say. But at the same time, what is happening from the US point of view, as far as, for example, Balochistan. Now, in Balochistan, suddenly the so-called Asim Munir, the army chief of Pakistan, he went to US twice, had a one personal meeting, and then another meeting he went.
Threatened India as well.
That is part of his. The threatening part is more of a typical, typical villain dialogue in a blockbuster Hindi movie.
Okay.
I wouldn't take Asim Munir's comment more than that dialogue in a film.
Okay.
It's a typical dialogue. We'll start with the film. We'll end with the film.
But I think there was no reply from our side, if I'm not wrong.
Why should we reply to a film dialogue?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I mean, something which Pakistan has always a normal habit of doing that. And they speak. And remember, the more you speak, but less your actions are. So, if you remember, he once said very recently, compared India to a Mercedes and compared Pakistan to a small, a dumping van.
That's true.
Actually, that's true. So he has given out what is the truth. But on the other side, he's kind of playing a victim card here. In a way, he's trying to show that, look, we have done so much. We have tried to wipe out terrorism. We have done so much. Never mind, we're helping terrorists to attack our neighbor, but we have cleaned our other side. We have tried our best to go against terrorism and everything. And that is one angle which US already bought, because US had a different agenda already. Because since China is already making inroads, and I'm taking the example of Balochistan because right now the BLA has recently been banned, designated as well by the US. So since it has been, automatically it goes to show that once US has done this, if they are working or if they are in a way, associated with the Pakistani government in that part of the country for any project, and anything happens to any US citizen in the process, those guys will be held responsible.
Okay.
So, I mean, the Balochistan Liberation Army, the BLA, as they call it. But at the same time, as far as Pakistan is concerned, they are thinking it's a great diplomatic victory for us. We already had China by our side. Now we have US also taking our side. And our US has just levied a very small interest on our goods. But for India, it has levied 50%. So we have won the diplomatic war. But Munir has forgotten one thing. It's not a war. It's not a diplomatic tussle or a diplomatic win of any sort that he thinks. If he thinks that it's going to get the Balochistan a bit, the organizations which are fighting for the independence of Balochistan grow weaker, is just going to be the opposite. They are now going to be further more organized. For example, in Balochistan, there are 7 or 8 groups which are fighting against Pakistani rule. Everything is going to become united. The citizens are going to take the BLA line. I don't know what, but I mean, in a way, it will be established that BLA is fighting for the people of Balochistan, because all their natural resources are being used. Everything is being used. It's one of the most, and this kind of a big province, it's one of the most backward provinces, be it education, be it any aspect.
But they contribute more to the economy or resources.
Exactly. They are the biggest contributors to the economy. And if Munir's so-called prediction, gold is here, this is there, and Pakistan will be debt-ridden in a way. Whatever debts that Pakistan has, it will be taken care of, and will become a rich nation. If he's thinking on those terms, he is mistaken. Because don't forget Imran Khan. Imran Khan, during his prime ministership, said, "Oh yeah, we have gas reserves. We're going to." I'm sorry, but no gas has come out till now from the earth. So, there's no point of, just taking things on face value. Because Asim Munir is very good in terms of entertaining. He's a real entertainer. But I'm sorry, but from a pure diplomatic perspective, if he thinks it's a victory, it just might turn out to be a loss.
Okay.
Just wait for a little more time.
Okay.
You'll see the change coming. And even US will repent.
Okay. Can I put it in this way? Was the US, did the US didn't want another 1971 so that they are backing Pakistan? Because even in 1971 also they backed Pakistan and Russia was on our side. So that went very not easy, by the way. It went out in our favor. Bangladesh was then created. Maybe US didn't want to create a Bangladesh on the let's
Pakistan
say
side.
western side of the Pakistan. So that they are so that is the reason they are backing Pakistan.
Well, it may definitely it may be one of the reasons, but I
Okay.
can tell you for sure, if at all another Bangladesh is formed on our border on this side with Pakistan, if it has to happen, it will happen, because there are already. Don't forget that the law and order, as far as Pakistan's internal security is concerned, the law and order is resting now with the central authority. So provincial governments and provincial parties and provincial people are feeling the pain. They have said, you have taken away one of our most important elements of governance. So from that perspective, I think he has already played the wrong card as far as Munir is concerned. And in a way, it will somehow or the other reflect in the days to come, because don't forget, when a US president calls an army chief for lunch, and the prime minister of that same country is sitting in his office in Islamabad, that shows what kind of importance Munir is getting from Trump, which shows that democracy in Pakistan
Is dead.
is dead, in the sense it was anyway never there, because
It never
the
existed.
25 presidents that have happened so far, the prime ministers, nobody could fill their term, so to say, from that perspective. It's basically Munir is going the Pervez Musharraf way.
Okay.
And it will be not long before, right now, they're the de facto rulers. They would not possibly come out in front immediately, but may come out if the situation warrants.
Okay, so that is why he is very keen in doing all these media gimmicks and trying to set this narrative, and we are a nuclear power, something like that, so-called Hindi dialogues or as well. So that's why he's doing all those things. Can we say like that? Or if Azim Munir takes the Pervez Musharraf way, will it be an added advantage to India to stabilize things in the Western Pakistan and the mainland of Pakistan also, or it will be thoda se difficult, sir?
I have a feeling, not a feeling, I would say. I would call it a chemistry in security, where you handle the chemistry in such a way that not one, but two Bangladesh is going to come out of Pakistan.
Okay. Interesting.
Munir will, of course, try his level best. People may think, why am I saying this? Is that something which is going to happen? Who's behind this and everything? I'm not going to go into that. But generally speaking, things on the POK front is not good. Because people have more or less sharing the same sentiments like the Balochistan. So it's kind of coming on a similar scale now. And other provinces also are feeling, not all provinces, but some provinces are feeling the pain.
Okay.
And most importantly, the PTI, the party of Imran Khan. Imran Khan is in jail. So somehow or the other, the Pakistani army is trying to keep Imran Khan in jail itself, because they have sanctioned him for not contesting, to not to contest as prime minister, or I mean not to get elected in political process till 2028, if I'm not mistaken. So they are trying to, as much as possible, assuage Imran Khan out of the picture. But it's not about civilian administration. I have a feeling that civilian part will not be there. Because the moment he takes over, he might take over officially. Munir might take over officially, may not be immediately, because they still want to show Pakistan as a democracy, quote unquote, though it has never been. It has always been military ruled in a wheeled manner. The Parda works very well.
Okay.
So the Parda is working very well in Pakistan, but Parde ke piche kya hai? People are now getting to know very clearly. It's visible.
Okay.
So now, from that perspective, Munir, I would say, is playing a game, no doubt on that. It will backfire, and the way it'll not be a third country coming in and doing something in Pakistan. It'll be Pakistan is doing something in Pakistan. Just wait and see.
Okay. So I'll bring in the Operation Sindoor factor. So as you rightly mentioned, the credit-taking part of Trump. So because he himself told that I should be nominated or I should get the Nobel Peace Prize as well. I think maybe in a couple of years you would be getting that. But one thing is very clear that the US has no role in the mediation, but it has somehow insisted or somehow it has pushed for a mediation, but it has no role for the mediation. Our Prime Minister said it very clear. Our External Affairs Minister said it very clear. So we can sense that what has happened, what has happened in that case. And so it was the Vice President J.D. Vance, who called up the Indian External Affairs Minister and Prime Minister and said that Pakistan wants to negotiate. And we clearly stated that, okay, ask Pakistan to call us. So then the DGMO level talks gone, and so it was very clear that, and the words come from the horse's mouth that the Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif himself told that we were trying to attack this time and India attacked before us, something like that. So it was very clear that we have hit them very hard, where it will be very painful to them. So what are the takeaways, and why is Donald Trump trying to portray himself as the negotiator, or let's say he brought in the ceasefire, or he ended up the war which has started between India and Pakistan? What
he
is
wants to be remembered in history?
Okay. For that, wherever things are happening,
for he's trying to be remembered in history in a perspective whereby the Trump has always triumphed over world problems, has solved everything. That kind of an image. Well, if you put it into practice, not bad. But when it comes with India and Pakistan, which very clearly, we have the facts before us, that it was basically Pakistan which begged for it. And we said, okay. Now, US came into the middle. Because why did US come into the middle? Not because Trump wanted to just say that, okay, look, I have solved the issue between India and Pakistan. But because US's issues are in Pakistan, which could have been hit had India wanted.
Like nuclear facilities.
Whatever. Now, the point is, at that point of time, it's very clear, it's not just that kind of a situation where Trump says that, look, we are winning it, we have done this work, and India and Pakistan has come together. So it's our credit. It never was, it never will be. Because number one, it's a bilateral issue. Now, somebody may say, then what about Russia and Ukraine? They're not on talking terms. In South Asia, there may be problems between countries, no problem. But at least we even call our biggest enemy to say good morning. That's something which the Europeans should learn from us. The other Western world should learn from us. That there's something called basic courtesy. So from that perspective, I would say that it was Pakistan which begged for mercy. US took the credit, and Pakistan immediately said yes, because it was Pakistan which requested US, but it was not India which answered to US's request, because before US could come into the picture, Pakistan came into the picture, and it was told to them, okay, fine. Because if US comes into the picture, and the way Donald Trump is portraying it to be, it shows that as if India and Pakistan are both at the same pedestal, which we are not. We are far, far, far ahead of Pakistan in all possible perspectives. I'm not saying being an Indian only, but even if I were today an Italian or a Finnish or anybody,
the world knows that.
The world knows it very clearly. So from that perspective, and more than the world, Munir himself knows it. He's comparing with a Mercedes with a dumb van. So it's very clear.
Okay.
So from that perspective, I think it's slowly becoming very clear to the world, because Pakistan right now is playing some kind of a information game.
Okay.
It's kind of not an information warfare, quote unquote, from that perspective, but they are playing along those lines, because of which you will see Munir acting more rather than doing anything. And it's that acting in terms of dialogue delivery, typical film dialogue delivery, because these are filmy language that he is using most of the time. It does not befit a army chief. It does not befit or even a prime minister of any country, for that matter. He's talking exactly, as I said, like a villain in a Hindi movie.
Okay.
So I would take him to that. Nothing more than that.
Okay.
But when the villain will be truly attacked, or when the villain will not attack, I mean, no, I'm not saying India, but will be truly attacked by his own men, he will then understand the real issue there. Because Pakistan, what Bangladesh, for example, coming just for a second there, people are saying Yunus is administering, Muhammad Yunus is taking care of Bangladesh right now. Bangladeshis are not ruling Bangladesh currently. It's Pakistan which is ruling Bangladesh. But a time will come very soon. It's not a forcey kind of a thing. But the current situation from a security point of view, from all aspects, going into internal securities of these countries, I can say one thing for sure. Pakistan should leave Bangladesh for a while. Aisa na ho that Pakistan goes after Bangladesh and suddenly feels apna hi ghar chala gaya. 2 room nikal gaya. Out of 5 bedroom, 2 rooms have been detached. Which may happen. And if that is the reason why I said, what Pakistan claims as a diplomatic victory is a diplomatic defeat.
Okay.
Because I would say this is going not just a diplomatic defeat, but they will feel the pain and I'm not talking about 2 years, 3 years. I'm talking about this year itself.
Okay.
You will see how sources close to me within Pakistan and other South Asian countries have clearly said one aspect. Pakistan is in for a surprise from within Pakistan.
By the expose which we made in the parliament by the External Affairs Minister and the Prime Minister also, how can I put it? Like, can we say that we exposed Trump and after every meet, I think it was 25 before Jaishankar's, Minister Jaishankar's speech in Parliament, and then it was 25%. And after Prime Minister Modi's speech in Parliament about Operation Sindoor, then it was 50%. The reason he was stating was they were very close with Russia, so and so. So, and we didn't, we replied it in a very subtle way, like our interests are very, very important for us. We can't be a nation which is sold or something like that. So, is US making a mistake by putting the tariffs and bringing all the nations which is way ahead for us and bringing closer to them, especially China?
From a China perspective, but even if you see from a BRICS perspective, say Brazil. Now, you've seen the moment both India and Brazil are facing, having that 50%.
Lola has openly stated President Lola has openly stated this actually.
So, in a way, remember one thing that, okay, you are levying those taxes, fine. But if your dollar economy, from that perspective, internationally speaking, if we come to a different currency level within this, because of their US actions, then, and even within US also, if the same thing happens, do you think that their economy is going to grow because they have levied taxes on this nation or that nation or this nation? No, it's going to hurt their economy itself. Not immediately, but the time when it will happen in US, Trump will not be the president. Will not remain the he would have finished his term by then.
Okay.
So he has sown the seeds already. Economically, it will come up in the US in a different way, in a negative fashion. Not now, but in years to come.
Okay.
I'm not going to speak against what he did or anything, but I'm just going to say one thing very clear. He is claiming something which he did not do.
Okay.
My point is very simple. See, if you have done, if I have helped somebody, I will say I have helped the person. But I will not go gaga I have helped this person who was fighting this guy. So I've helped solve their crisis, and I have made them stop the wrongs that they were doing. But is that enough? Don't forget, Operation Sindoor is still on.
So that is the reason. And how do you see the China coming closer to India? Because as the time we speak, the foreign minister is in the country, and there have been the border talks have been going on, and the national security advisor visited China, and foreign minister visited China. As the time we speak, the foreign minister is in Russia, and many developments are happening. And I think the prime minister is also yet to make his visit after the Kazan meet with the Z. I think which is coming in next 2 or 3 weeks, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. So what's happening between India and China?
Well, I think it's a very interesting Chinese angle. But from from China perspective, I can tell you one thing, that US, from an Indian standpoint, India has made it very clear. It's not about how India is shaped. It's now how India shapes. Earlier, it used to be other forces, external forces, used to kind of create a situation whereby India will do what is obvious before them. But right now we are in a position whereby we will think about our national interests, and we are not to listen to and dictated upon, because it's no longer a minnow. It's no longer a small country playing World Cup cricket for the first time. We are now in the top league. So from that perspective, you have to give that respect to that particular country which has got to that, which has climbed to that level. And this is something which US, I'm not going to officially comment, but US does not want. I mean, initially they wanted India to be a factor against China, right? But if you do something not against, but if you do something which harms our interests, we are going to look after our interests.
Naturally,
We are not going to
China.
we are not going to put our heads down and say, "Oh, you have given us 50%. Sorry, okay, no problem. Thank you."
Okay.
That India is no longer there.
Okay.
It's an India where it looks up and says, "You have given us, you have levied 50%. No problem. Carry on. We'll meet you." We turn, and as I said, there are no permanent enemies and no permanent friends as far as world politics go.
Definitely.
So I'll turn around, and if China is giving me the work, then if relations are going to be beneficial to us, good relations, well, why not? But at the same time, I'll keep one thing in mind, because China is somebody, as a country, which has always helped Pakistan out. So it's a traditional helper of our enemy.
Okay.
From that perspective, I wouldn't completely agree, or not about agreeing, but will not completely depend or believe, rather, on China. Would rather be skeptical about its moves right at the start and see how it goes. And we'll also see what US reactions are. They're still to come. China, we have just started. The Chinese foreign minister is in town. So I'm sure the US are looking at it. Oh, what's happening? We used to say India is a close ally, and we have just given levied 50% tax on that country. Suddenly, why it has moved towards China? I'm telling you, the same US-China rivalry, the way it is going to pan out in Pakistan, economically also, it's going to be I'm sure one thing I can tell you for sure, it's not going to be beneficial to the US and Pakistan.
Okay.
One. Two, what they have done as far as India is concerned, it's also not going to help their cause.
Understood. So, I would like to put it in this way. Was India a more reliable, trustable, or resourceable partner than China in the Asia Pacific region? Like what made them to take a U-turn and go back to Pakistan? Because I mean, like in a way, it is no longer equal to us, but they backed us in many ways in order to give a checkmate to China. But now they brought eventually both the countries together, which are one is already a grown powerful nation. One is already, I mean, one is another level to China, especially we can say. So what error? Or I mean, like where did US miscalculated this, sir?
See, before miscalculation, I would like to tell you, US treats Pakistan as a frying pan. I can put anything on that pan and either fry it, do whatever I want with that. So they think Pakistan is more of a experimental place where we will carry out and do anything to our liking. Now, if US thinks that, if we are very close to India, then we'll not be carrying out those experiments, will not be able to carry out those experiments in Pakistan. It's better that, since I'm talking from US perspective, since we need some experiments to be done, quote unquote, we'll do it sitting in Pakistan. I mean, in Pakistan, rather than not doing it at all. And in a way, there is a miscalculation, no doubt. But the miscalculation is not about India-Pakistan miscalculation. They would have made the miscalculation more on the front, because China is a third country in. So first you will see the problem that they are going to face is in Pakistan.
Okay.
Forget India-China relations, good relations that are developing. Forget the current Indo-US relations. I'm not going into the pros and cons of that bit. But I'm taking Pakistan as just an example. In Balochistan, and for example, when China set up their bases, the Baloch Liberation Army had killed a few Chinese people. They've attacked the local Chinese who were working there. Do you think they're going to sit hands folded when US has some kind of a work starting off in that area with Pakistan? They're not. And if US thinks that giving the support to Pakistan will help Pakistan solve this problem within their country and will also help US interests in South Asia, they're totally mistaken. This is a step which is going to backfire at them.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, this backfiring will start this year itself. And I'm talking purely from an internal security scenario within Pakistan as we speak.
Got it.
So that's something which is going to happen.
Okay.
And that's the reason, as I said, Pakistan ko koi aur desh aake nahi marega. Pakistan khud Pakistan ko hi marega.
So you mentioned one word, that is the BRICS. He is targeting the BRICS country. Now he has brought one of the big player of BRICS country to their home soil itself, and they are trying to negotiate with this. Once everything settles down, will all these big things becomes normal, or it still goes on hand in hand way?
No, see, they will definitely, US will definitely tell Russia, if this gets solved, as far as BRICS is concerned, tell the others to follow what we are saying. I mean, what US is saying. But I have a strong feeling that's not going to happen. Because even if US says, it's not about an elder brother saying to a younger brother, do this work for me. But the other brothers will also have to say a yes to that brother also. That is not going to happen. He's taking, Trump is taking things very casually when it comes to South Asia and thinking that whatever I say is going to be followed verbatim. He's mistaken.
Okay.
It's no longer the India that used to exist earlier. It's a different India now. It's a different South Asian equation now. So it's not just in foreign relations or foreign policy that I'm talking about. I'm talking even from because see, we are self-reliant. Our security is paramount. First thing first. From that perspective, as I said before, they have done a miscalculation. But they will realize it. We are not going to do anything. It will be a self-realization on their part when the action happens there. Something is going to happen in Pakistan.
Done.
And I'm sorry, but US can't save Pakistan there.
So to end this conversation, you mentioned that there is a force working behind Trump in a way. So what is it all about? And I mean, like, see, the US is a big player. Like, you can't just say that okay, there is a force behind, because we all know that ISI is behind Pakistan. We all know that like some of the intelligence agencies or some of the
Yeah, but
some
here,
of the forces are behind every nation. But uh, in a way, it is putting the US in a very wrong picture in some of the other cases. And the wherever the, I mean, like, for the past 4 years, it was not a way, not at all in the picture when the Biden administration was there. Like, we can easily say that, because the world police was sleeping for the past 4 years when Donald Trump took over. Because even in his first tenure also, he was trying to make the Korean Peninsula, denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula. All these issues were there actually. So what it is up to, for what are the challenges internally Trump is facing right now, and from the forces, what are the challenges for Donald Trump and the world also, and especially with regards to India?
well, I think as far as US is concerned, we have talked about the deep state. Now, earlier it was said initially that deep state, I mean, the Biden administration was very cool and calm. They used to function, they used to do all the work, but very silently. And they have done that very silently. They have not gone gaga about anything which they have done. Trump has a different agenda altogether. Excuse me. He likes to be blunt about things in public and wants to speak in that fashion of what he does. But there's a gap between what he speaks and what is actually done, which we saw as far as Operation Sindoor is concerned. So there is a deep state functioning going on behind him, no doubt on that. And it is definitely putting some kind of I won't like to name anybody here, but there are certain individuals within that framework who are behind all the stuff that's going on. Remember, there are some Republicans who have criticized Trump for, as far as relations with India goes, for doing what they did with India, saying that, losing India as a friend, or, and India as a dear friend, we are friends, no doubt, but losing India as a dear friend is something which US has done wrong. This is coming from his own party. I'm not saying this, his own party. So that means there is something playing behind the curtain, no doubt, as I said, behind. It's just like a puppetry game. Two, to do with Bangladesh, China, and our South Asian manifold, basically, with perspective to China. It's not about closeness to Russia. Till 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, 4 weeks back, this is the same US president which was criticizing Russia.
China also.
China also. Of course, China, he still does. But strangely, it is the same US president which has levied 50% on our country. At the same time, he has not increased this amount in China.
No, he also maintains the same amount of imports and exports with Russia. That is also,
of course,
Putin exposed that in the press meet actually.
Exactly. So that shows that what you are propagating, you don't do.
Exactly.
So it's all about practice. So you should do the propaganda about what you are practicing, not what you think will work for you and what will not work for you. So he's thinking purely from that mindset. So I would suggest, from that perspective, things are going to be clearer, much more clearer as time goes on as far as South Asia. His US's South Asia interests are concerned. It's going to have a clearer picture where it is going by the end of this year. Because there are certain things which will be happening in our neighboring countries, not one country. And those things which are going to happen will probably open the eyes once and for all for the US also. And we'll see how things go on. So till now, I will say, all our friends, we have nothing against anybody. As I said before, friends and enemies, there's no permanent friends and enemies. So be it. So we take China from that perspective.
Thank you so much for your wonderful time, sir. It's always a pleasure talking with you. I hope we should do a series of these international issues in a podcast manner, and then we will present it to the audience as well. Thank you so much for your wonderful time, sir.
Thank
I
you so
hope
much.
to get your time regularly and do this shows and present the insights of yours as well, sir.
Thank you very much.
And that's it for today's episode. See you in yet another beautiful international lineup with sir or the other guest or the international relations expert as well. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe and share the content as well. Thank you so much.